Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. Here we are at 5:33 a.m. Central Standard. We have from 1968, the Northern Lights, introduced at that time by Glenmore Distilling as the Northern Light. And you'll see the Northern Lights. Then it was Hiram Walker's The Northern Lights, and then somebody else's The Northern Lights, and now it's Sazerac, bottled in Louisville by Barton Importers, which is Sazerac. The competitor, Caliber Premium Canadian, introduced in 2004. They come in these beautiful PET plastic bottles. No glass for these that I'm aware of. They're both 80 proof. Canadian whiskey with natural flavors. It says that on both packages. Caliber has all your Canadian things, your Crown, the two maple leafs. The Northern Lights has the Crown and maple leaf, same thing. So that's what you're going to usually get. Now, these are not award-winning products. They're not even well-known products, but they are around, at least in Louisiana. Walmart sells both of these. The Northern Lights, Walmart does not sell the glass bottle in my area. They sell the big 1.75 liter plastic handle, and it's $15.99. Caliber, Walmart sells in the big plastic handle bottle, and the price is always $9.96. $9.96 for any Caliber thing. The spice rum, the silver rum, the gin, the vodka, this Canadian whiskey. Now they have liqueurs, and those are in glass bottles. Okay, they got a long stem, kind of D.W. Anders glass bottle like you get with the Albertsons brandy D.W. Anders. So those are actually in glass bottles, but the bulk things like this, they'll be in plastic. Assuming that you live in a place where Walmart sells liquor. I do. They always have. We don't have very strict laws in this state. Some parishes do. You would call them counties. Louisiana doesn't have counties. We have parishes. Now this has a nice built-in pour. If you go to St. Bernard Parish, they don't sell liquor in any place but a liquor store. Parish, local rule, local government rule. But, and in St. Bernard Parish, the people call their parish the parish. There's 64 parishes. You say, where do you live? In the parish. Well, you live in the parish. Okay. Because, none of the other ones count in their mind. So that's one of those where you couldn't buy liquor at a Walmart. All right, or a racetrack. But in St. John the Baptist Parish, St. Charles Parish, Jefferson Parish, Orleans Parish, Plaquemines, I believe. Now, you know what? I'm not sure about Plaquemines. I'd have to check that. But those other ones, St. Tammany, Tangipahoa, you could buy liquor in the gas station or the convenience store or the grocery store. Okay, so they're both the same appearance. Amber. Nice little alcohol eggs. Typical there, it's usually not too remarkable for whatever you're drinking. Just the little drips. And that's the name of my Facebook group, Alcohol Eggs. Is this going to be a challenge? Yes. Is it going to be close? I think so. And will I have trouble telling them apart? I think I will. Which would mean what? Caliber would win. If you're paying $6.03 less per bottle, $6, $3 less per bottle, and you get a whiskey that's virtually the same, why would you buy the more expensive one? I wouldn't. You say, yeah, but I can get VO for $20.99 for the big bottle. That's true. Is it better than these two? Yes, it is. I think it is more woody, more good whiskey flavor. Probably age longer, although they don't give an age statement. It used to say 6 years, 86.6 proof. Now VO has no age statement, it's 80 proof. So it has been, if you want to say, lowered in quality, although some people prefer that 80 proof to lower proof. Now they say on the sell sheet for LCBO, I was looking at that last night while I was watching the LSU, listening to the LSU game, and then I was watching it. But they said that it uses 20 different whiskeys, Seagram's VO, 20 different whiskeys, whereas Crown Royal uses 50. Yeah, good morning to you. All right. So this one smells like just typical grain whiskeys, a lot of corn, some barley, malt whiskey, a little rye spice, but it's very standard. Like it's just like what you think of with Canadian whiskey, just standard grains, and then you have those flavorings added, which is the, I think, could be plum wine or some kind of sherry, like blending sherry. Now let's see over here if there's any difference in aroma. No, they smell pretty much the same. You got your grain whiskey base, little barley, a little malt whiskey, a touch of rye, maybe wheat, and then your flavorings, plum wine, or blending sherry. I really don't know what they use, so you're just assuming. They're never going to tell you. Sazerac Canada isn't going to tell you. Well, Sazerac, no matter where they're located, not going to tell you. They're just not going to tell you. All right, let's go with the taste. Yeah, what I've been tasting with the Northern Lights, pretty much. This one has a lot of grain whiskey, though. Think of corn, a lot of corn. There's a little bite to it. It's okay. I think it's good. Let's go over here. It's not going to win gold medal anywhere, but very similar. Maybe a little smoother, though. Maybe a little smoother, though. Both medium body, almost on the high medium side. Like they're a little heavy bodied in a way. And the finish is moderate, doesn't linger too long. Let's say long moderate. Goes a little longer than normal. There's a lot of that, what you call plum wine taste here on my left. It could be your right. This one might have a little bit more what John Anile calls that almond extract flavor that he picked up with Canadian Leaf. But it's probably coming from white rum. Maxwell, good morning, Ron. Good morning to you, Maxwell, in the Russian Federation. Hi, dude, says Hans. Voltron. Hi, Ron. Pray for my dad. He had a... Oh. All right, anyway, a lot of late night comedians. Okay, This is not really Fandango Friday. These are more like a serious hangout. You know what I mean? Like, we're trying to focus on the product. I mean, some people like all the kidding around, the jocular humor, the sophomoric humor, 10th grade type stuff. And in junior high, that's appropriate, and even 10th grade. But here, we're trying to really focus on the product. All right. And then I can concentrate better on it instead of entertaining, you know, just your typical social media lowbrow humor. I have to look at that on Facebook when I go through Facebook a lot. And it's funny because the people think they think I'm going to post this. It's so funny. Then you look at it and you say, no, it's so typical of the pattern of social media humor. It's not really funny. It's just like, sort of like, I say jocular humor, or almost like just low grade. Like you say, well, you're drinking low grade whiskey. No, but these are actually better than what you typically get on social media. It's really poor. They just go on and on, like about the Clemson Tigers uniform. Okay, their mascot's not the best looking mascot, but they've had it a long time. They're not going to change it. So these people just harp on and on about it, just like, isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? It's like, no, it's not funny because you said it like 100 times and everybody else says it like 100 times. It's not funny. It's like a drag. So, oh, well, that's just the level of society, I suppose. I'm not saying you'd be totally buttoned down like some beer reviewers, and they're totally humorless, buttoned down, and everything's just this is it. But the problem I have with them usually is that they don't really want the social part of the social media. I don't mean like you got to be their friend on Facebook and just constantly like bother them, talk. But I mean just like interaction, like you might make a comment on a serious comment on their video, and they just don't respond. Or if they do respond, you can tell it was like a chore for them to actually respond. So that's a big gripe I've had over the years. I mean, you got some reviewers, I don't really watch them. Everything's a big comedy show. It's sort of like I was commenting on social media, like they think it's funny. It's almost like they're amused by themselves that they're on the internet or something, you know? So it's like, this is a terrible review. It just doesn't focus. It lacks focus. And then you got the other extremes, totally buttoned down, serious, dour, you know. I could name some. I won't. You probably know who I'm talking. You probably know them. You probably watch them too. And if they do respond, it's almost a miracle. And when they do respond, it's like it's a chore for them to have to even talk to a viewer. You know, why would they have to talk to a viewer? They're a serious whiskey connoisseur, a serious beer connoisseur. Why would you think they would have time to interact with you who is so beneath them? I don't know. I just don't get that idea. But anyway, I'm trying to do a middle ground, but mostly serious. And I've done that over the years with beer reviews. Okay. These are so close. I don't know if I'm going to be able to tell them apart. I mean, they're not identical. I don't taste them, and I don't get the impression that they're totally identical. But what do we say a lot here on this channel? And other people say it to me. It's practically the same. I mean, you might be able to do some analysis where you sit down with a pen and paper, or a pencil and paper, and just go on and try to break down each characteristic, flavor note, aroma note. And you could say, look, I did this on a 100-point scale, and this one is this much, and this one is here. And there is some marginal difference. But there's no practical difference. And we've said that. I keep harping on that. And you might say, I'm getting tired of that. But I don't think you should get tired of me saying that, because this is so common in beer, wine, or liquor. And I don't know a lot about wine, so I have to kind of steer clear of that. But what I've noticed about whiskey, rum, gin, well, whiskey, rum, brandy, beer, especially beer, because I have the most experience with that. You've got so many products within a certain class that are close. And then you just have to come down to you just say price and availability. I mean, you don't make extra trips to get something that is really no better or worse than the other product. Unless you do like me, I collect cans and bottles. So yeah, you'll make an effort because you want to get the can or bottle for your collection. That's understandable. But just to go drive 15 miles and to get something that you could have gotten in your hometown at almost the same. Yeah. And these are like that. They're essentially identical. And there we go. There's your winner, Caliber, because it's $6.03 cheaper. It's over $6 cheaper. Now I'm not going to pay, and that's any brands. I don't care what the brand is, unless I'm collecting the bottles, which I don't collect whiskey, liquor, or wine bottles. I just don't have room. I have a handful of liquor bottles from things that are no longer produced. I just kept them as local souvenirs, like Katz and Bestoff vodka. I mean, you can't get Katz and Bestoff. They don't exist since 1998. So when that was ending, I said, let me get a bottle. It's got that stereotypical label for K&B, Katz and Bestoff. So I bought it. But generally, I don't collect liquor. I don't even collect light beer cans and bottles. Why? I had some beautiful light beer bottles, but it's just a space issue. I had a beautiful bottle of Schaefer Light. Schaefer Light, 12-ounce bottle. It was nice. Bought it in a 6-pack. But Keystone, 12-ounce too. Really distinctive. But I have to purge. I had to purge. Now, do I have a handful of light beer cans? Yeah, because they're from unusual sources like Falstaff, Dixie Light, those kind of things. You just can't. They're like collectibles. But otherwise, no, I can't. No, yeah, people do like to mess with the video of Voltron, but you asked for prayer, and then it was about a joke, I mean, I don't mind lowbrow humor, all right, if I'm working and people are doing that, because that's all they do. That's their level. Their humor level is, they can't go higher because they don't have the ability. But and even if they had the ability, some of them do, they don't have the desire. But it's really, we're trying to focus on the whiskeys. You say, yeah, but people want attention. I know that, which is why I always said they should start their own channel. And you may get the attention, you may not. I don't know. So I can't tell them apart. I'm not even going to try to guess. I can't. Except maybe, and I mean just maybe, and I have almost no confidence in this. Maybe this is the Caliber because I'm picking up a little more grain whiskey. I don't know. So I'll check. If it says NL, then I'm wrong. Oh, well, it'll just bolster what I was saying. No, it is Caliber. Okay, so You get a little bit more grain whiskey, which is a detriment because, you know, you get the better flavors from the malt whiskeys. And that's what's going to give your Canadian whiskey a nicer flavor. Just like American blended whiskey. The ones that have really good flavor, why is that? Like Seagram 7 Crown. Because they're using high grade bourbon in it. 25% straight bourbon, or it could be straight whiskey aged in used barrels, but it's so good. So it gives it that wonderful flavor. So it's almost like a savory flavor in the Seagram 7. So this Northern Lights is a better product, but is it $6 better? That is very doubtful. Especially if you're going to use it for mixed drinks. If you're making cocktails, forget it. There's no way you got to pay. You should pay the $6 more. Now, if you're a real stickler for flavor, and I mean extremely picky, and I can be that way. If you're, I'm sorry if you thought I was joking. I'm really dealing with something. I have ever pulled it on you. Okay, all right, I'll forgive you. Okay. If you're having a family issue with somebody's ill, you know, I pray that the person will recover. Okay. All right. I'm not a hostile person and I'm not a volatile person generally. Okay. But a lot of viewers are hostile and volatile, especially volatile. It doesn't, I've had people come to me and be friends. Let's be friends on Facebook. And I'm like, okay. You're always a little reluctant, you know, and then they're volatile, you know, it's like you have to be their great friend, or so I don't even know who you are. And they very strange. So you got to watch that. Social media is very treacherous because you have some very strange people. Okay. And this type of format, social media format, attracts the very strange people, the internet people, let's call it. All right. So anyway, if you're gonna buy these just to sip, and I don't know why you would, but I mean you might, then yeah, okay. The Northern Lights is a winner, but considering that everybody's just gonna buy this to do mixed drinks, mixed with probably Coke or Sprite, yeah, just forget it. Price. All right, so this was interesting. I actually thought I wouldn't be able to tell them apart. I was thinking before I went on, I'm not gonna be able to tell them apart. But there is a difference. If you think it's all the same, if you think it's all the same, put in different bottles, I don't think that's true. Joe Biden's interest. Social media gives schizophrenics a megaphone. There's no doubt about that. I've run across some really unbalanced people. And okay, like, say, I'm going to use you as an example. You use an alias, no big deal, because you don't cause trouble. But you got some of these people, they hide behind an alias and they do all these antics, and they somehow think you have to like entertain it. Other people might. I'm not going to entertain it. I've had political videos where people say, I don't agree, you're wrong, and they just go on and on. I'm so wrong about politics or government. I say, okay, well, who are you? Because they got a name like Gaga Me or something, you know, Me Ga, some internet name. I said, well, who are you? Well, you don't have to worry about that. And I said, well, no, I mean, you're taking an issue with it. I'm using my real name and real face. So I tell them, you can come on my channel for 30 minutes and give your point about this world issue, world crisis, whatever. Oh, no, they're not going to do that. I mean, some people would, but then the people I'm talking about don't hide behind alias. And you have Like somebody told me, he has every right to have an alias, some other guy. I said, well, sure, of course. Why not? Unless you're a hostile player. Then there's a problem. They had a district attorney in New Orleans, federal district attorney, lost his job because he was doing that, hiding behind an alias and being like going super hostile internet guy. And he was so unwise that he was commenting on it, cases that he was working on even. But they tracked him down. Tracked him down and exposed him. He was crazy, you know. I mean, it's a good thing they exposed him, because if you're that mentally unbalanced that you got to do that on the internet, why should you be a district attorney, federal district attorney? You can't be. You shouldn't be. Remaining incognito is simply an issue of privacy in my case. Right. That's fine, because you're not a hostile player, you know. You're not touchy, strange, hostile, volatile. If you were, I just wouldn't entertain you. Hans, I realize in this life you have to be careful with people's intention. Too many backstabbers. Very bad intentions with some people. I've had some people come to me on Facebook and they're like, oh, let's be friends. Oh, yeah. And I say, okay. And they're all talking about cars. You know, I'm always posting cars every day. Right now, trucks. And, oh, I had that car once and my family had it and we drove across Canada and all this. But but some of these people are very insidious. You know, it's like Brian Wilson with the Beach Boys said, they come on like they're peaceful, but inside they're so uptight. That's a great lyric from that 1966 song. They come on like they're peaceful, but inside they're so uptight. And he had a problem with that too, because he ran across, you know, he had a tendency to be like I am, like you want to be friends with people and you're nice, try to be cool. But Brian Wilson had problems with people had bad intentions, and he had to find it out. And, you know, he was a genuine person. He still is. Okay, but very shy, I guess you'd say he was shy. He wouldn't have had and if they'd have had YouTube in 1966, Brian Wilson probably wouldn't have been on YouTube. He might have gotten people to make videos about him or whatever, but I don't think he would have addressed things face to face on the camera. Okay, well, so the next one coming up, if y'all want to see this, I might do one today for tomorrow's slot, like Wednesday, thinking about that. It'd be rum though. I'll show y'all real fast and I'm off the air for now. Too many insecurities, they prey on the nice person. They will never prey on the ones that are stronger or certain with themselves. I think you're right, because it's like a hierarchy of evil in a way. You know, they have problems, so they pick on the weak. It's like in schoolyard, you know. And that's why one reason I couldn't stand being a teacher, because you had so many insidious, horrible careerists as administrators. I mean, these people had so much great contempt for them. Their character was so poor. Like I turned in kids for bullying other kids, picking on them, just horrible stuff. And these principals wouldn't do anything about it. You know why? Because the bullies were connected to political people in the town. And I thought, these people are terrible. You know, I just wanted to get out. And after 22 and a half years, I got out. I said, I'm getting out of this sick system. You know, it's like, anyway, working in a high school is like working in a prison. You know, I did a video about that. The whole thing is run like a prison. I wanted to be a teacher, not a prison guard. So it was very bad mentally for the students, the way they run it. You know. But anyway, here's Royal Canadian. This has been around since 1934. It's not an uptight day for me. I agree, says Hans. Give me a call when you enter heaven, Master Ron. I can't give you a call, but I'll pray for you. But it's kind of like You know the story of Lazarus and the rich man. Lazarus was in Hades, and he said, if I could just go tell my brothers to get their attitude straight before they wind up like me. And remember what Abraham said. They have the law and the prophets. He said, yeah, but if somebody personally went and talked to them, they would change. And remember, Jesus said, even if they had someone who came from heaven and talked to them, they wouldn't change their attitude. Because that's your brothers. They're just like you. They got an attitude problem. And they're going to be burning with you. And I can't even reach, remember what Father Abraham said, I can't even reach or Lazarus, I can't even dip my finger in the water to put on your tongue, because there's a great chasm between us. And you've made your choice. Now you have to live in it forever. The public education system is essentially daycare. It's a deranged system, and it's been deranged for 65 years. I worked in, it felt like human warehousing. It is human warehousing. It's like those science fiction movies. So here's Royal Canadian, been on the market since 1934. Now, this is not like what I've been looking at lately with the Northern Lights. The Northern Lights is a flavored, well, they're all flavored, but they make a point of saying it. But the Royal Canadian is much more like a Seagram's VO or a Crown Royal. It's like straight whiskey aroma. You know what I'm saying? They're focusing on wood, charcoal, rye, grain. So it's going to be no challenge. Forget the challenge part. It could be, you could watch it and it can be like a exposition of how they're different, but there's no way. And I'm going to emphasize that. I'm going to predict that 2 days beforehand. There is no way I'm going to confuse those two. I got the Royal Canadian for $8.99 a bottle. I think that's an unusually low price. I don't think you'll get it that cheap in your area, but I would recommend it if you like a standard whiskey flavor. And I'm standing behind that. You should review Orwell's 1984, Ron. Yeah. Well, we're kind of living in it, so we can kind of like review it as we experience it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, man. All right. So thanks for watching this video production, and we'll be back soon enough. Everybody have a nice, peaceful, stress-free day, if that's possible.